You have been force-fed a motivational lie since childhood, a toxic cliché printed on coffee mugs, embedded in Hollywood movies, and repeated by average people who have achieved absolutely nothing of substance. And that beautifully wrapped lie is the phrase, "never give up." Society glorifies blind persistence and romanticizes the image of the suffering martyr. You are told that if you just keep pushing, if you just keep grinding your face into the dirt, if you just refuse to quit, eventually the universe will magically reward you with wealth, success, and happiness. But let me give you the cold, unfiltered, mathematical truth that separates the billionaires, the apex predators, and the sovereign individuals from the perpetually broke masses. The most successful people on earth are actually expert quitters. They quit constantly, they quit ruthlessly, and they quit without a single ounce of emotional baggage or regret. Today, we are completely dismantling the romanticized idea of blind endurance, and we are teaching you the high-level, strategic skill of weaponizing the sunk cost fallacy. Right now, at this very moment, you are likely bleeding your irreplaceable time, your hard-earned money, and your vital soul energy into a vehicle that is mathematically guaranteed to fail. It might be a digital business you started 3 years ago that has absolutely zero market traction, a toxic relationship that constantly drains your life force and distracts you from your mission, or a corporate career path that makes you want to drive your car into a concrete bridge every single Monday morning. You know deep in your gut that it is a dead end. The analytics, the bank account, and the daily misery are all screaming at you that the strategy is fundamentally broken. Yet, you stubbornly refuse to walk away. Why? Because you are completely trapped in the psychological prison of the sunk cost fallacy. This is a cognitive bias, a literal glitch in human evolutionary wiring that forces you to continue investing massive resources into a losing proposition simply because you have already invested so much into it in the past. You look at your situation and you tell yourself, I have already put 5 years of my life into this specific career. I cannot just throw it all away and start over now. Or you say, I have already spent $20,000 and countless sleepless nights building this software application. I have to see it through to the end, even if nobody wants to buy it. This is a catastrophic failure of basic logic and business acumen. Those 5 years are gone. That $20,000 is gone. It is dead capital, vaporized in the fires of experience. Whether you choose to stay or whether you choose to leave today, you can never, ever get that past investment back. But by choosing to stay in a broken vehicle just to justify the past, you are actively choosing to set your future on fire. You are stealing the next 5 years of your life to pay for the mistakes of the last 5 years. You are doubling down on stupidity just to protect your ego. You must understand that the marketplace is an incredibly brutal, hyper-efficient meritocracy, and it does not care how long you have been working on something. The marketplace does not reward the volume of your suffering. It does not care about your tears, and it does not care about your intentions. It only rewards the undeniable value of your output and your leverage. If you are digging a hole in the wrong place, digging harder, faster, and with more enthusiasm is not going to magically strike gold. It is just going to create a much deeper, much darker grave for your ambitions. To actually own your path and build unshakable sovereignty, you must develop the terrifying, almost robotic ability to emotionally detach from your past decisions. You must become a ruthless, cold-blooded auditor of your own life. Think about how the elite operate. When a legendary hedge fund manager realizes that a stock they bought is plummeting, and the underlying macroeconomic fundamentals of that company are permanently broken, they do not hold onto the stock because they have a sentimental attachment to the millions of dollars they just lost. They do not hold and pray. They cut their losses immediately. They take the massive hit to their ego. They free up whatever remaining capital they have left, and they instantly deploy it into a new, superior asset that actually has an upward trajectory and asymmetric upside. You must start treating your time, your focus, and your physical energy exactly like that hedge fund manager treats their capital, because your time is infinitely more valuable than their money. Every single day you spend trying to resuscitate a dead project, a dead business model, or a dead relationship is a day you are deliberately not spending, building the empire you were actually meant to rule. You are committing treason against your own potential. Now, we must draw a very sharp, distinct line between quitting because things are just temporarily difficult and quitting because the vehicle itself is fundamentally flawed, because weak people will use this advice as an excuse to quit when they just lack discipline. How do you know the difference? You remove the emotion and you look strictly at the math, the leverage, and the market feedback. When you are building a massive business or learning a highly complex, high-income skill, there will always be a period of immense friction, a deep valley of despair where you are putting in massive effort and seeing absolutely zero results. You do not quit in this valley because the underlying mechanism still has infinite leverage. If you are learning to write complex code or master high-ticket sales, and it is excruciatingly hard, and you face constant rejection, you do not quit, because the mathematical upside and the market demand for those skills are undeniable facts. But if you have spent 3 years running a drop shipping store in a completely oversaturated niche, your profit margins are constantly shrinking to pennies. Your advertising costs are skyrocketing due to platform algorithms, and the fundamental business model lacks any real competitive moat, brand loyalty, or pricing leverage. Then pushing harder is nothing but ego-driven delusion. You are not in a temporary valley. You are in a permanent cul-de-sac. You are driving a car with no engine, flooring the gas pedal, and wondering why you aren't winning the race. The primary reason you refuse to quit the cul-de-sac is your ego. You are absolutely terrified of the social humiliation of admitting defeat. You told all your friends you were going to be a millionaire with this specific startup. You told your parents you were going to marry this specific person. You told your co-workers you were going to climb to the top of this specific corporate ladder. If you pull the plug now, you have to face their judgment. You have to swallow your immense pride, look them in the eye and say, "I was wrong. It failed, and I am pivoting." Let me relieve you of this heavy, useless burden right now. The opinions of average, mediocre people do not pay your bills. They do not build your wealth. They do not forge your discipline. And they absolutely do not dictate your destiny. The masses will judge you if you quit, and they will judge you just as harshly if you succeed, because your success triggers their insecurities. Their judgment is just a constant, meaningless background noise of the matrix. Let them laugh. Let them whisper behind your back. Let them call you a failure in the short term. The ultimate flex of a sovereign individual is not stubbornly clinging to a sinking ship while playing the violin just to prove a point to the passengers. The ultimate flex is having the absolute bulletproof self-assurance to recognize the ship is going down, step off the deck, swim through the freezing water to the shore, build a completely new and better boat, and eventually buy the entire ocean. The courage to quit is the courage to admit that your past self made a miscalculation based on limited data, and your present self is smart enough and strong enough to correct it immediately. It requires extreme, unadulterated ownership. It requires you to look in the mirror and say, "I chose the wrong path, I burned a massive amount of resources, and it is entirely my fault, but I refuse to lose another second of my future to this mistake." When you finally muster the courage to sever the dead weight, you will experience a psychological phenomenon that is almost magical in its intensity. The sheer volume of mental bandwidth, creative capacity, and physical energy that is instantly freed up is staggering. The chronic anxiety you have been carrying in your chest for months, that heavy dark dread you feel every single morning when you wake up to work on a business you secretly hate, will evaporate into thin air the exact moment you make the cold, mathematical decision to walk away. You take all of that reclaimed energy, you take the brutal, expensive lessons you learned from the failure, and you weaponize them. You channel that immense force into a new vehicle that actually has scale, leverage, and the potential to generate ungodly amounts of capital. You do not start from scratch. You start from experience, heavily armed with the knowledge of exactly what not to do. Your specific, uncompromising assignment for today is not to write a new motivational goal. It is to execute a violent, tactical retreat from a losing battle. I want you to isolate yourself for 1 uninterrupted hour today with a pen and a blank piece of paper. You are going to write down every single major project, investment, business venture, career path, and relationship in your life right now. Next to each one, you are going to ask yourself one merciless, terrifying question. If I was not already involved in this, knowing everything I know right now about how hard it is and what the actual returns are, would I start it again today? If the answer is an immediate gut-wrenching no, then why the hell are you still doing it? You are acting as a voluntary prisoner to your own past. It is time to break the chains. Identify the absolute biggest sunk cost in your life, the one that is draining your financial and emotional resources the fastest, and pull the plug today. Send the termination email, cancel the expensive software subscription, shut down the failing LLC, break off the toxic engagement, or hand in your corporate resignation. Do it with clinical, emotionless precision. Experience the terrifying, exhilarating freefall of having a completely blank slate. Stop desperately defending your past mistakes and start aggressively defending your future empire. It is time to quit the things that keep you weak, drain your bank account, and steal your focus so you can finally commit all of your violent execution toward the things that will make you an absolute, unstoppable force of nature in the marketplace.